Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Brandy. I am the host of the Be Real Babe Show, a spinoff of the Be Real Babe podcast. And today, you guys, it's time for internet insanity. And let me tell you, I have got 3 insane stories for you today. I'm going to be trotting around the globe here, and we're going to be talking about 3 different stories. One is coming out of the UK, a really fucked up domestic abuse story that I found recently that was from 2019. And then we're also going to go over to Scotland. Looks like maybe someone over there was lying about a pregnancy and a baby's death and a bunch of other things that I found extremely kind of insane. And the public opinion is kind of all over the place with this one. And then also we're going to talk about something that came out of Arizona not that long ago, just happening right now, for a father who left his daughter in the car while he was playing video games, and unfortunately she is no longer with us. So 3 really insane stories, completely different, kind of all over the place, but just some more shitty, bad behavior from people. And I just want to get your guys' opinions on that. So if you're interested in listening to those stories, stick around and we'll jump right in. All right, babes, as mentioned, 3 different stories for you today, all with different levels of insanity and all different kind of topics here. We've got a father neglect case that ended, unfortunately, in his daughter's death. And we also have a potential death that could have happened that came out of the UK with an extremely bad domestic violence story, actually, from a woman who was torturing a man, and they said he was about 10 days away from dying over in the UK. And then I also have another story that recently came out, and it kind of went viral on TikTok. That's where I found it. Was about a woman who had allegedly lied about her pregnancy and her baby's death, and there was quite a stir up among the TikTokers and on YouTube talking about this one. And I just have some interesting thoughts about that situation, so I thought I would talk about it on the show today. But today, let's start with the one that's closest, I guess you could say closest to home, down in Arizona. So this one was published on October 24th, 2025. However, this incident did not happen this year. This is just going through the court ruling. I actually, as usual, found this on Law and Crime, so definitely go watch over there if you want to see more of the court proceedings and the body cam footage of the cops and everything that went down. It's a very hard watch. However, I think it's a really, really good reminder to make sure that you're dialed in when you're parenting. I feel like sometimes, and I'm not just speaking for parenting, but I think sometimes we get a little complacent in the things that we do all the time. If we're distracted, there seems to be a decent amount of cases lately where people are distracted. And I do wonder what the statistics are like now that we have cell phones versus like the neglect of people from before. Like, are cell phones more distracting, or were parents, quote unquote, always distracted? And this was a thing. I'd be curious to look into that. If anybody knows more, please let me know. But let's go to this specific topic here, because this one, there's a couple things that the whole thing bothers me, but especially when it comes to the case and what was allowed to be said, kind of bothered me, especially after watching all of the body cam footage first and then watching the court case. So, Arizona dad whose daughter too died in a 109-degree hot car while he played video games gets a plea deal. Christopher Schultes, 38, previously rejected a plea deal that would have resulted in less jail time than the deal he had agreed to this week. An Arizona man is charged with murdering his 2-year-old daughter after she died in a hot car parked in the family's driveway, has agreed to a plea deal. Christopher Schultes, 38, entered guilty pleas to charges of second-degree murder and intentional child abuse likely to cause death or serious injury. Schultes' decision just days before his trial was set to begin came as a surprise, as he previously declined to accept Schultes' decision just days before his trial was set to begin came as a surprise, as he previously declined to accept a similar plea deal when it was first offered by prosecutors, one which have required him to plead guilty to the murder charge. His decision to pass over the initial offer came at a steep price, as he would have faced 10 to 25 years in prison had he agreed to the deal at the time. In a statement, the Pima County Attorney's Office said Schultes will face 20 to 30 years in prison under the terms of the deal, without possibility of early release. Oh, you guys, my co-host is coming up. Angie. All right, settle in. Settle in. Here. See. Do I need to guide you where to sit? What is happening? Good there. Okay. Co-host locked in. In a statement, the Pima County Attorney's Office said Schultes will face between 20 and 30 years in prison under the terms of the deal without the possibility of early release. Had he gone to trial, Schultes would have faced the possibility of life in prison or even the death penalty. The father of 3 was arrested after leaving his youngest child in the car while he sat inside playing video games on July 9, 2024, according to multiple court documents previously filed in the case and viewed by People. Schultes also allegedly searched for pornography on his PlayStation during that time, but the judges in the case issued an order earlier this month stating that this information could not be introduced at trial. Why? Why? And like everybody grieves differently and everyone needs to do everything different, but I'm not gonna lie, I was a little shocked and I don't know. Like I'm not victim shaming. I was just a little shocked at how much his wife had defended him, even though it doesn't sound like, spoiler alert, that this is the first time that he has left children in a car. I just maybe it was just like the initial shock, but it was just a little shocking to hear, asking if they would consider that he still has 2 children at home and that it's going to be more of a loss for her to deal with, which I can completely understand. At the same time, like, I don't know. I've never been there. I'm not a mom, but I think I would have a hard time. I guess, like everyone's different, but yeah, a lot of people in the comments section were just kind of saying like, a little shocked about how much he was defended in this case. Especially, it's like, again, if you do, like, things happen, obviously accidents happen. When it comes to neglect, and we'll continue on the story, like I said, if his original story was true, I could maybe understand having a lot more grace about the situation. But the fact that there's history on this, the fact that he was playing video games and looking up porn, the amount of time, he's a stay-at-home father, so it's not even just like he's not used to going to take the children out and doing things with them. He was a stay-at-home father. She's a doctor. So those things kind of blew my mind. It's just like, how disconnected are you that you forgot your daughter for that long in the vehicle when you are the primary caregiver? She's not a couple months old. She's 2 years old and you have 2 other children to look after. So, but anyways, let's continue. It was his wife who discovered the child when she arrived home that day, some 3 hours after Schultes had returned from running errands with the toddler. The criminal complaint said the temperature inside the vehicle that afternoon was 109 degrees Fahrenheit. Body cam footage recorded Schultes admitting that he left his daughter in the car while speaking with officers from the Marana Police Department when they arrived on scene. He also told officers that he left his daughter in the vehicle with air conditioning on because she was asleep in the car seat and went inside the family home. He alleged that he forgot about his daughter because he was distracted, according to the complaint. The complaint also alleged that Schultes said he was aware that the car engine in his vehicle turns off after 30 minutes, at which point there would be no more air conditioning. Investigators later interviewed the 2 surviving daughters, who were 6 and 9 at the time, and both allegedly said that their father had previously left them alone in the car, according to the complaint. A text allegedly sent to Schultes by his wife as their daughter was being rushed to the hospital seems to support those claims. As she texted, "I told you to stop leaving them in the car. How many times have I told you?" Schultes was released on bail and was ordered to not have any unsupervised time with children, but was also later approved to travel to Hawaii with his wife and 2 surviving daughters ahead of his trial. Sentencing has been set for November 21st in the case, and Schultes must return himself in 3 weeks prior on November 3rd. His lawyer did not respond to her request to comment. So, November 23rd, ironically, that'll just be, well, I'm in Hawaii, so I'll have to catch you guys up what the sentence ends up being after all of this. I'll let you guys know. I'll follow up on this case, but I think it's just a call to everyone to have a quick reminder that maybe leaving your kid in a vehicle, I can understand that nap time's hard unless you're going to sit in there. Like maybe the better idea would have been for you to play on your phone in the car. I mean, not looking up porn. And why that wasn't allowed in court, I don't understand that. Were they trying to pen him as in a better picture? Because neglecting your child and playing video games for 3 hours and forgetting when you are stay-at-home father, when you've done this before and clearly had conversations with your spouse about it, your children are complaining about it. At what point? And to be let go to go on a trip, I'm just a little confused. I mean, not my place. I've never been a parent, so I can't imagine that's hard to explain to your other daughters. So maybe for her, it was just like she knows he's going to go away for the rest of their lives, is just prolonging that so they can have one good family trip before. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. I can imagine that's that what it would be. I don't know. I think I would struggle so hard because again, accidents happen, of course, but when there's no behavior correction, I just want to know what is it for everybody and what their line is personally. But very, very sad. I'm very, very sorry to hear of this little girl passing. I don't even know what to say. It's absolutely disgusting. I'm not a parent listening to the people at Law and Crime talk about it today, watching the body cam footage. Just absolutely disturbing. Like, I don't, oh, co-host is leaving. I don't think the dad at the moment fully understood what was happening maybe, and the fact that he was responsible. At first it kind of seemed like he was just like obviously upset, but then wasn't understanding why the police were sticking around. It's like, bro, she died in your hands. She's 2 years old. You are responsible for her. I understand that you're understanding that she's passing away and you're grieving that. But the fact that you didn't connect that you were responsible for that and that you're going to be held liable for that. I mean, I guess in that moment of shock, you're just not thinking, but oof. Anyways, I'm so sorry for the family. I'm so sorry for the two girls that lost their sister and the mom. Obviously, I can't imagine what that's like. I'm not judging. I just like trying to, that's a very strong place of grace to come from. You're a bigger woman than I am because I would not be able to do that. Maybe, but who knows? Like hindsight's 20. Like it's easier to say that, but my heart just breaks for the whole entire family. And hopefully, this is a call to action to people, that maybe don't leave your kids in the car. Maybe especially if it's super hot out, like not saying at any time, but maybe that's the specific time we just stay there. Or if you're gonna do that and you're a forgetful person, like set an alarm. Like I'm not sure what you need to do as a responsible adult with children because I don't have them. But I imagine more things can be done than leaving your child for 3 hours while you video game. I'd be curious what the fuck else was happening that people weren't clocking while his wife was working as a doctor. So, no offense, but I do hope you serve your time. I don't believe I understand that death penalties need to be there. I think those are for the heinous people that do stuff like ad nauseum on purpose and all that because I couldn't take someone else's life whether they quote unquote deserved it. But I do hope that you rot in prison and that people take warning for this of what to do with their children and stop fucking discarding them like they're less than animals and stop leaving your animals in the car too. It might be freezing fucking cold here in British Columbia and we might be seeing snow in Alberta and it's cold out here and it's the fall, but it's still hot in other places in the world. So keep that in mind. Okay. Let's go to an older story, but over in the UK, and then we'll head over to Scotland. We're just, like I said, we're doing an international trip today. So this, I said, was come out in 2019, and I think I was just kind of blown away by it because it really seems, and please, feminists, don't come with me, but it's come for me. Come at me, come for me, come with me. I don't know. Either way. It seems like people say all the time that men don't go through any sort of abuse, and I just don't agree with that at all. I like to follow men's right advocates like the Dadvocate, Roma's Army, Hi Do Me. Those are all really good places. Women in the space that are speaking out and standing up for men. And this was just a situation I wanted to bring because I do talk a lot about men that have done stuff to women, and I think I do a good job at balance. But this one kind of shocked me and made me like super sad to my stomach because I listened again to the interview. It was on some sort of British like a morning talk show, and they were interviewing this fellow, and it just kind of broke my heart, and so I looked into the story deeper. But anyways, let's go to the article. So blood everywhere. Moment-starved boyfriend 22 is found 10 days from death in pool of blood after abusive girlfriend slashed him with a bread knife. Alex Skeel was abused by Jordan Worth for 3 years and attacked with hammers and boiling water before bravely opening up. So this is published February 18th, 2019. This is the horrific moment a starved boyfriend was discovered 10 days from death in a bloodbath after being stabbed by his abusive ex. Alex Skeel, 22, was hacked with a bread knife and battered with a hammer by Jordan Worth during a 3-year catalog of sickening abuse. I'm going to post a picture here, and you'll see why this kind of just like completely threw me off. The football coach met Jordan Worth when they were both 16 years old. He was also starved to just 7 stone by the 22-year-old fiend who told him what to wear and isolated him from family and friends. As abuse turned more violent, Worth poured boiling water on the on the dad of her 2 kids and knocked his tooth out with a hairbrush. She has now been caged for 7.5 years at Luton Crown Court after admitting grievous bodily harm and coercive controlling behavior. Dramatic body cam footage cops released the BBC shows the moment they discovered blood everywhere in the home Alex shared with his ex in Luton. Officers had been called to the house by neighbors who had heard a fight and found injured Alex sat with a towel wrapped around his arm at the stairs. He hurt himself. Brazen Worth calmly told cops her boyfriend had hurt himself and suffered from a medical condition that caused him to have bouts of self-harm. But suspicions were raised when Worth walked injured Alex out of the hospital when he was due to go into surgery. Opening up about the abuse, Alex said, "It was in the middle of the night. I was trying to stop her getting into the bathroom because I'd had enough. I sit on the toilet and she went to go for my head. She started panicking a little bit. I just remember sitting there and we tied it up with a football sock or something, tied it up real tightly. The next thing I know, police are knocking at the door." Second body cam footage also showed Sergeant Ed Finn attending the home after another domestic report in 2017. The officer said, "Sergeant Finn took Alex upstairs with footage showing him asking Alex about the horrific abuse he suffered at the hands of his ex-girlfriend. He says, 'Dude, have you been assaulted or anything like that?' Alex replies, 'No assault, nothing. It was just arguing. We're just so stressed out.' Sergeant Finn asks, 'Are you 100% sure, Alex?' But Alex replies, 'Yes, I'm 100% sure.' When alone in the police office car, brave Alex opened up about the 3 years of abuse he'd suffered as Worth was arrested on suspicion of assault. Medics who checked him over said he only had 10 days to live and that he was suffering from hydrocephalus, a build-up of fluid inside the skull, caused by blunt objects that hit his head." See what I'm... Man, he didn't go through all of this. In chilling police interviews, Worth recalled how she knifed her boyfriend with a bread knife. She said, "I was holding the knife. I just wanted him to come in the house. It was a big one from the kitchen. I don't think it went in that far, but it did. There was a lot of blood." Worth also revealed how she hit Alex with a hairbrush, causing him to lose a tooth, and told officers she battered him with a hammer but never hurt him. She said, "Whenever we've had an argument in the car, I'll just grab my hairbrush that's on the side and I'll just sort of hit him wherever I can." Alex's horrific ordeal was exposed in the BBC show Abused by My Girlfriend, which was narrated by the brave dad. In it, he revealed how he felt like he couldn't escape after meeting Worth through friends in June 2012. He was smitten, but her controlling behavior soon crept in and the pair would have constant arguments. They broke up after Worth snapped his SIM card in half, but she dropped the bombshell she was pregnant and gave birth to their son in May 2014. Alex tried to keep away from Worth, but wrongly believed motherhood would change her, and they soon moved in together. But Worth began to control his life once more and cut off contact between Alex and his families and friends by controlling his phone and social media accounts. She closed down all of his accounts and opened up new ones so he couldn't do anything. She also played sick mind games and once lied to him about his beloved granddad dying, leaving him in tears. On another occasion, during a trip to Winter Wonderland, Jordan forced Alex to consume an entire pack of sleeping pills, and he has no idea how he got home. She even tried to change his name by deed poll and made him sleep on the floor in their bedroom for 9 months. But her mental abuse grew more violent and she stopped Alex from eating, forcing him to just exist on scraps until he lost 3 stone. The brute also hit his shins and head with a hammer, struck his legs and hands with knives, and poured boiling water on his hands and back while he slept. She would find any weapon to hand, including a glass bottle, bits of wardrobe, a football pole snapped in half, and even a hairbrush. Recalling one attack, Alex said, "We went out and everything seemed okay." And she said, "Right, that's it," and picked up a hairbrush and went full on whack. My tooth was near enough. I had no money, I didn't drive, so in the end I just ripped the tooth out. He hoped that the arrival of their baby daughter Iris in May 2017 would make the violence go away, but a month later she poured a kettle of boiling hot water on him. "I was backed into a corner upstairs. She lifted the lid up and threw it," he recalls, and full-on screamed. Alex has now opened up about his nightmare abuse to encourage other victims to come forward. He said, "You're far more of a person if you speak out. You're only going to get better if you talk it about." Oh man, these pictures are horrible. There's a bread knife. The pair kissed and hugged moments before the nightmare came to an end. Alex dropped from 10 stone to 7 stone after being deprived of food. Oh God. Oh, you guys, I'm gonna post these pictures next. I think you guys need to see these. Oh, this poor guy. Oh, anyway, she's in jail. I don't know how long she's in jail for, but she's in jail, thank God. But yeah, those pictures are brutal, hey? Like, it just absolutely breaks my fucking heart. And I just wanted to like point out. And there was a question in there. It's like, well, why didn't you leave? And that's such a fucking wild question to ask people. Like, you don't know. I know it's easier said than done. I know there's moments where it's good to reevaluate how you got into those situations just to self-preserve for the future. I think it's always good to self-evaluate if there's any red flags or anything that, maybe you could pick out for the next time. I think definitely you need to go to therapy after something like this, without a doubt. Talk it out. Um, Find any tools that you can, because I'm sure the trust is gone, but just absolutely wild. And just to point out that it's really just shit humans. Humans are shit, and it doesn't matter what gender they are. So let's go to a woman that's shit, allegedly. I don't know, maybe not. You guys have been so torn about this one as well, because if something did happen to her daughter and she was grieving and this was her way, then I do absolutely feel for her. But if she was just lying, there's so many different theories. There's so much different lore about this all over social media. There's people making accounts trying to say that it's her, saying all these different things, and it's so fucking hard. We don't 100% know. But I just think this is, again, where I've talked about before, like, why does everything have to be about the plot? Why does everything have to be for content? At what point are we humans? And I'm not saying this specific case, but I wouldn't be surprised if this was just all for making money. Like, there's a lot of people that just like to make money off of children, off of social media. So I could see this being 100% ruse. I could see this being, she got something happened and she just wanted more time to grieve the child, and the child never, but like, anyways, I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna ruin it. Let's go over to Scotland. So what is this about? A Scottish woman, Kyra Cousins, has gone viral after allegedly faking a pregnancy, even going as far to host a gender reveal party with friends and family, and then tried to convince her loved ones that the realistic looking doll was her daughter, Bonnie Lee Joyce. Now, a social media account claiming to belong to Kiera Cousins has posted a statement apologizing for deceiving her loved ones and a man named Jamie, who she'd apparently convinced was the father of Bonnie Lee. Here's a quick recap of the situation. Kiera Cousins is allegedly a 20-something woman from Airdrie, Scotland, who has recently been accused of wearing a prosthetic bump for months, faking a pregnancy, and then pretending the baby had died after using a reborn doll to try and convince friends, family, and the baby's dad, Jamie, that she had actually become a mother. Now, sidetracking this for a second, and I don't know, I'm actually going to put a picture right here. It's not a real baby, so I feel comfortable sharing it. There is websites that you can get fake pregnancy tests, fake DNA tests, fake uterus, fake ultrasounds, fake baby bumps, fake babies. Like, I guess this is all meant to be for pranks, but I don't know, y'all. I guess I don't get the joke. Maybe that's just because of my fertility issues and my miscarriages, but to each their own, deal with things their own. That's why I'm trying to be open here. The story first started circulating on social media a few days ago after a woman, Neve, claiming to be friends with Cousins, posted multiple videos and screenshots, including a kicking bump clip she said was shared by Cousins as evidence of the fake pregnancy. Neve says she supported Cousins for months, even driving her and baby Bonnie Lee to meet Cousins' colleagues in a local supermarket after the baby was born. Neve then claims that Cousins had a doll tucked up under blankets and then told colleagues the baby was asleep while accepting their money and well wishes. A man named Jamie, who was apparently duped into believing he was the father of Bonnie Lee for a time and was called out online by Cousins for asking her to consider termination early on into her pregnancy. Cousins' former friend said that in her Facebook post about the situation that the ruse had been carried on for months. The day she told me she was pregnant, I was so happy, feeling like I was going to be an auntie again. Sending me baby scans. Neve stayed for 4 months go by and the gender reveal comes. Me, my mom, and niece all went. Bought her gifts. She received a lot of presents for her baby doll. No one thought for a second that she wasn't pregnant or she was lying to everyone. Everyone believed Kyra. Kyra was texting me all throughout her pregnancy, telling me never to get pregnant. She's constantly sick and she feels lonely and all the rest. Telling me Jamie never went to any of the appointments with her, painting Jamie and his family out to be the worst people on earth, when reality is they were the correct ones. Cousins then claimed to have gone into labor alone in the early hours of the morning, meaning nobody witnessed the birth. Neve continued on to say that Cousins later refused to allow anyone to touch the baby, and she presumed Cousins was just being an overprotective mom. She added, "The next day my sister had noticed all of Kyra's photos on Facebook had been deleted. Then I went on Snapchat to notice she had deleted every picture and video of Bonnie Lee from our chats. I texted her why, she ignored me. I then added Jamie on Snap to understand what the fuck was happening, and I asked him, is this a doll? And he said, yes." Sorry guys, if you've seen a change. Having technical difficulties, Riverside, the program that I'm recording on, is having issues. And I'm having issues. Anyways, let's carry on. Showing sympathy for Jamie and all the other people Cousins had lied to, including her mother, Neve said the experience has been a complete mental drain for her. I feel like I can't trust anyone or believe anyone anymore. Everyone got conned by her, and I feel worse because I'm one of the few people to meet this baby, and I was driving 20 miles an hour on the motorway as I didn't want to hit any bumps or give the fucking doll a fright. She even went to the extreme and texted Jamie, the doll's dad, saying Bonnie Lee had died. Another local hairdresser named Kelly commented on Neve's post, sharing that she had long been suspicious of Cousins, saying, I was doing her hair for her, and I told my daughter the first time I seen her that the bump wasn't real. It looked bumpy and lumpy, to be honest. I've had 5 kids. I'm not daft. She kept her arms around the top of her belly constantly, and when she ran out the door, you could clearly see it was fake when the wind would hit her stomach. Now, given that this account isn't verified and there's a lot of clout chasers in this world, it's impossible to know whether the Instagram account attributed to Kyra Cousins is legit. She said the account had posted a statement saying, I wasn't pregnant, there was no baby. I made it up, and I kept it going way too far. I faked scans, messages, a whole birth story, and acted like the doll was a real baby. I know how bad it is. I fucked up. I just didn't know how to stop once I started. I don't have a proper excuse. I wasn't in good headspace, and that doesn't make what I did okay. I know this is going to stick with me for a long time, and that I've probably lost friends I'll never get back. The account also apologized directly to Neve, stating, Neve, I'm so sorry. You were there for me through it all. You cried happy tears, you picked me up, brought me places, believed everything I said, and didn't deserve to be lied to like that. So who knows if that's true or not. Like I said, you guys, I'm struggling. Now my mic just fell apart. Anyways, you guys, we're just falling apart today. But 3 insane stories. Like I said, I understand the need to have these products for people that go through child loss. I cannot imagine, even just with my own experiences, they've been a lot smaller than a lot of people. So I can imagine for things like stillborns or, long-term miscarriages, even, having late-term abortions, I imagine there's some relief that comes with babies like this. But the fact that this person, because who knows, I'm not a part of any of this, so I'm saying allegedly, but the fact that someone would do this, whether it was a joke and it got too far away or something that got too far away or something did happen in the meantime and then you did lie to everybody about it. I know it's hard to say, and I can't say what I would do for my healing, but I would say while you're hurting, try not to hurt other people through this. Especially, it sounded like the dad wanted abortion from early on, and that was just like the question to even ask. So that's just really brutal to be putting that whole family and all that through this if it wasn't true. And if something did happen in the pregnancy and you lost a baby, which is allegedly another account saying that's what happened, I can understand that being scary, but I think it's a lot scarier to lie and fabricate something at this level. And this could just be for clout chasing too. You never know. People do the craziest things to get attention. I'm not sure. But what do you guys think about that? Do you think that she made it up the whole time? Do you think that maybe something happened in the pregnancy and she just kind of in her grief went down this path? What do you guys think? As well as, are we shocked to hear about women abusing men like this? I don't personally. I've seen a lot of it. It's really just to me, the person, not necessarily the gender. And I'm also just still blown away in 2025 that we are leaving kids in vehicles or animals in vehicles in the summertime when it's 109 degrees Fahrenheit outside. That's just, I thought we would be smart enough adults by now, but here we go, and I digress. So anyways, you guys, if you're still listening, thank you so much for sticking around. Don't forget, on Mondays on YouTube, we keep up with Canada, so you'll get a couple stories about what's going on here in Canada. On Wednesdays, it's Internet Insanity. You can go back to many stories over the last couple months. And then on Fridays on Apple, Spotify, and Rumble, you will find the Be Real Babe podcast, where I have amazing episodes, where I have amazing interviews with amazing people if you like that kind of content. But thank you guys so much again for sticking around. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'll see you guys on Monday next week. Bye. Thanks.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Until next time, bye!